Welcome to Memory Lane, where every month or so, or whenever the mood strikes me, I release past episodes from the catalog, from my South Shore Ave Catalogue, and rehash some classic ones, either full episodes, sometimes it's short clips. The last couple I've been doing has been full episodes, and this time it's not going to be any different. All right. So just to lay out the schedule, the timeline for the next couple weeks, because we are going into holiday mode right now, I'm going to release this past episode. I'll get into that one in a moment. So there will be no new episodes next week because it's Christmas, and I actually don't want to work on Christmas week anyway. So there'll be no new episode next week. The week after, which is the last week of the year, there will be a new episode, which will be the breakdown of the Voodoo album and some other musical content, which we'll get into. But be prepared for that. And also, we're going to start off the year with a brand new episode, a reimagining of a project that I've been working on. So those two will come out on the last week of the year. And then, like I said, I'm starting out the new year with a new episode, a reimagining of a previous project I was working on. That one will be out on January the 2nd. We'll share those details later. For the time being, though, this episode, I wanted to rehash this because, with Netflix seeming like they're trying to buy the rest of the media on planet Earth, mainly the Warner deal that was going through for like $74 billion, what have you. I wanted to rehash one of the continuous episodes that I used to have in the past. Well, the first one started with the cord-cutting episodes that I used to do. The first one I did was about 7 years ago. This is back in 2019. It features South Shore Ave Family Member Headley. Rest in peace to him, as always, as well as friend of the podcast, producer, DJ, Mr. DJ Keo, and also Andrew Mambo, who at the time was working for ESPN. He is now working for NPR. You can read all the details and the captions and what he does. He was last featured on the Who Killed the Montreal Expos documentary review that we broke down a few weeks ago. If you haven't checked that one out yet, please go back and check that one out. I think I even mentioned that was one of my favorite ones that I did that we did this year for sure. Really loved that episode and the content of and basically being able to rehash a lot of memories about the Expos experience, and as well as just being ex-Montrealers, man. It was real fun doing that one. But with all that said, this one was the first episode of the cord-cutting episodes that I've done over the years. It was a fun and funny conversation, but also informative in terms of the topics that was throughout this episode. We predicted a lot of things. Some went through, some didn't, but it was just entertaining nonetheless. I found myself enjoying the hell out of it while I was listening back to it a few weeks ago, so I decided just to bring this back and just end this week off on a good note. So once again, South Shore Ave is available wherever you get your podcasts, as always, from Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Alexa, Spotify. You can go to my YouTube channel at South Shore Ave and make sure you hit the socials as well. Everywhere in the socials is South Shore Ave, including TikTok, Instagram, and also, actually that's basically it. And Threads, I should say. There's so many of these friggin' apps. But anyways, and make sure you go check the catalog over at SouthShoreAve.com. Once again, that is SouthShoreAve.com. I'm going to say it one more time for the emphasis. That is SouthShoreAve.com. All right, so check out this previous cord-cutting episode that we've done. Please enjoy this. Have a great weekend. Have a great holidays. Have a great Christmas week, especially for everybody listening out there. Peace and love to all of you. Make sure you have a great time. If you're into the presents thing, I hope you get a lot of presents. If not, make sure you spend as much time as with your family. That time is precious. Make sure you eat a lot of food, kick it, have a good time. Make sure you relax. And I think, being in Canada, and I think now that the rule might have changed in the United States where Canada and Boxing Day is a holiday. So next week is going to be a pretty long weekend. So make sure you enjoy all of it, man. Enjoy all of it. If you're traveling on the road, stay safe. And let's get to the episode. Welcome to Memory Lane. Let's go. All right, so we're gonna go into the cord cutting remix edition of this podcast. And like I said, part of the motivation was seeing how I always wanted to revisit this topic actually. But I know part of it too was, like I said, when I saw Disney Plus come into the picture the last couple of years and what they had to offer, I was like, you know what, it's kind of time to revisit it. But before we get into that topic, I'll ask you guys just to start off, like, in terms of cord cutting, like, what drives you in terms of cord cutting? Is it strictly cost cutting, or is it original content and programming? Like, what is it for you guys? And I guess I'll start with you first, Headley.
Me, originally it was just pricing. I got pretty fed up, basically, with the price of cable and the fact that you couldn't really personalize your packages. I just found that it was outdated. The way that you can make your packages and the high rate of cost, that was what originally was my motivation for cord cutting. However, now as the years go by, the content's getting even better and better. And the servicing is getting better and better. I mean, before, you had to deal with a lot more buffering. It's starting to get better in that context as well, too. The final frontier, I'm not really too sure if we're there yet, is once they can get live TV, more reliable live TV, I should say. Then it'll be a wrap.
Yeah, 'cause I think live TV, like the IPTV format, it's already here, but I know it doesn't work as cleanly as some people would like, but it's already here. Like in comparison to where we were at this conversation a couple of years ago, it's definitely here now.
Well, yeah, and that's why I paused and said, like, I said more reliable, because yeah, you're right, it is here. It's just it's still shaky somewhat.
All right, and what about you, Mambo? Sorry, Keo. What about you, Keo?
For me, it was about getting what you wanted, because you get cable and you're paying for 80 channels you don't watch. And so for me, it was about, once I got Netflix and I was just watching the shows that I wanted to watch, I was like, I don't need anything else, basically. And then the DAZN came out with sports, and I was able to watch, because outside of football, I don't really watch any of the sports. Like I'll watch basketball in the playoffs, but other than that, I don't really care that much. So it was getting what you want exactly without all the extra fluff, because I don't care about reality TV and all this other bullshit. So it was just getting exactly what I wanted, and the cost was good. Oh, it started off being good. Now it's not so much, because you're not married, are you? All these other companies,
and we'll get into that. We're gonna definitely get into that part of it too.
You're not married, are you?
Huh?
You're not married, are you?
No,
I didn't think so. As soon as you said about the reality TV comments, I was like, this guy married.
That's fair. That's fair.
And Mambo, for you to jump into this conversation, how do you dispute all this?
I dispute what? People can cut. They can cord cut if they want. I don't cord cut because I get a better deal bundling. So, when I went to go and cut, I thought about it, and I went to go look into it, and I was like, all right, if I cut this, and I grab these other, whatever I want to watch, Netflix, HBO, ESPN Plus, all these things, how much, when you add it all up, how much am I actually paying? And I realized that it wasn't a better deal. So I get way more bang for my buck by bundling my internet and cable. But that's because, I don't know. When you think about it, the people who, at least here in the U.S., a lot of times, the people who own the infrastructure for the internet, the people who are your internet service providers, are the cable companies, and so they don't want you leaving. They want you on cable.
It's the same here. Same here.
Your internet costs almost nothing if you bundle it with cable TV. Whereas if you get just internet alone, all of a sudden I'm paying I can remember at one point my bill was I pay $95 or something like that. I get HBO, 200 channels, Showtime, ESPN, everything, plus high-speed internet. If I cut out all the cable and I just get internet, it was going to cost me $70 or $75.
Yeah.
So it just made no sense. So I just kept it. I'm still a cable subscriber, and I make a point of making sure I get the HBO, I get the full full package.
Right.
Not everything, but most things. I got Netflix as well. I'm Gucci.
Yeah, I think it's. For me, I know it started off because I haven't really cut the cord totally yet. I mean, I support it, but I haven't totally cut the cord yet. But I think for me, it's increasingly become about cost cutting, of course. But with all the good original content, it's about, I think for me, it's about keeping up and watching some of my shows too. Because honestly, there's so much good TV shows, and the need for on demand for me to stay on top of all of it. Because like I need that, because for me, like I just can't keep up with what channel is showing what show anymore. Like it's at the point where it kind of broke me now. Like I can't keep up with which, like who's showing this one. Like Amazon is showing this one. Oh fuck, I gotta get Amazon. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's almost too much for me now, because there's so much shows, and I mean that's the thing. When you got so much specialty channels now, you got so much content. It's almost at a point now where it's like some of these channels you're literally you're literally paying for them just for one show, which doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So like you're looking at like a Stars or something, for example. Like the only time I watch Stars is when I watch Power, and Power's only on like a few months out of the year, if that. You know what I mean? But other than that, I couldn't name you another show that I watch on Stars. You know what I mean? So it's sorry, go ahead.
Prime has an interesting model, because like most people who have Amazon Prime don't have Amazon Prime specifically for the television stuff.
Right. Yeah, you buy
and
it
they add the television, you know. People already had it, and then the added is like, all right, here's an extra incentive to keep you here.
Right.
And, you know, some additional people maybe are like, all right, now I'm actually going to take the plunge and join. I would be curious to see how many people like are subscribers of Prime just for, you know, Jack Ryan or something. Like,
I doubt that highly. I mean, most people who have Prime, they have it because they buy stuff.
Exactly. That's like the vast majority of their business model.
Yeah, I see 99% of it is just because you buy stuff on Amazon. It's just convenient. And you're like, oh, look here, you got TV channel too.
The beauty of what they're doing, though, is that they're like putting out all this, like, I think what you're going to end up seeing is some sort of system where like Amazon you're going to be watching Jack Ryan or something like that, or whatever other shows that they have on Prime. They're going to show you a commercial at some point if they put in commercials or some sort of banner advertising. And then they're going to be able to get like consumer data like crazy and be able to target exactly to the demographics of people watching specific shows.
Right.
And they're going to be able to tell you people who watch Jack Ryan all like buy this kind of shirt or this like, and they'll be able to match those things directly. Whereas, to be honest, like terrestrial TV, you advertise on Grey's Anatomy or whatever other show on NBC or CBS, and you're saying, okay, in general, they've told me that the demographic for this show is such and such and such. So I'm buying, but you don't actually know how many people are actually making a connection to your product. Amazon is going to be like, here's this company, here's the thing, here's the link, click right here, and you can go directly to it and buy it. I mean, that is like,
that's scary.
That is going to be a very different universe when we get to that point.
I'm going to rewind this back a little bit. Mambo was talking about why he doesn't cord cut, and I respect that. However, what you guys are failing to realize is we're talking about Amazon Prime. We're talking about Disney Plus. You're talking about Netflix. You're talking about Stars. You're talking about all these different things. Problem is we're not talking about his Android box. An Android box can get you basically every single one of these programs. And the popularity of it before, back in the day when I was experimenting with Android box, it was really black market in the sense that it seemed like it was either a mom and pop shop that was selling it, or you're seeing some street signs and people selling it outside of, out of the trunk, so to speak. But now you're seeing, large organizations like Best Buy and multi-chain companies, retail stores are selling these, right? And then you can download apps such as Kodi and Plex and stuff like that, where you basically are getting on demand for basically every program that's out there. As I said before, I'm talking about 3, 4, 5 years ago, where it was really like you're buying it at kiosk. Now you're able to get this stuff in retail chain stores, right? As the service gets better, it's starting to be more of not being like a fringe, but it's going to start being more popular. It's going to start cutting all these different ones out because, one, you're paying one flat fee for the system, and you're not talking about any monthly subscription after that. Mind you, I guess a drawback you could say is that it's one box per television, so it's not one of those things where like it can work.
I mean, but Headley, you're negating like the massive problem with your entire thing is like the only reason you're able to watch an Android box is because I pay for HBO, right? So like you're able to watch that because I'm paying for it, and like HBO knows that to an extent. But once they start feeling like it's really affecting their business model, they need growth, they can start pursuing you and following your IP address with your Android and Kodi box. They just aren't doing it at the moment. But like what you're doing is streaming illegally. Android is not paying HBO to stream their stuff. Like it's a completely illegal. It's not illegal to buy a box and have a box. And I'm sure there's some legal streams that you can find on an Android box. But there are plenty of ones that are taking copyrighted, owned, proprietary, video and film, television, and distributing it. Now,
you're right about that. That's true.
That is not going to be a thing that's going to go on forever. And definitely more people that get on an Android box, the bigger the problem is going to all of a sudden be. I mean, ultimately, if nobody's paying and nobody's like, if everybody loves Game of Thrones, like I think they had a thing about like, I think HBO has, how many subscribers do they have? Is it like 14 million? Or is it, I can't remember.
It's like 30 million or something like that.
Is it 30 million subscribers?
Yeah.
30 million people have a subscription to HBO.
Yeah.
When they talked about how many people watched the finale of HBO, the final season, I mean, the fucking numbers were like 150 million people watching an episode or something. I mean, it's like ridiculous, but HBO knows that. But like, I mean, the numbers just don't add up if you like long-term have everybody just going the illegal streaming route, right? You can't.
I think HBO is good with it to some degree because the more people who watch it, the more eyes you have and the more people talking about it. Even if you're not paying for HBO, if you're talking about it, you're helping them. So like as long as somebody's paying for cable, they're okay with it. But like HBO is going to have a streaming service coming out in the beginning of next year.
Yeah, January 1st.
Yeah, so HBO Max or something like that.
HBO Max.
Yeah.
So like they know the writing's on the wall too.
Mambo. The point you make is it's a fair point, and you're right that there's going to have to be some kind of, I guess, regulation with this kind of Wild Wild West right now. However, when it comes to streaming versus cable, what's your viewpoint on that? Do you believe cable as it is right now, where you have a box you plug in that way, is going to be of the future?
No, I think like everything's gonna change, but it's like it's not gonna be all of a sudden overnight, right? The change has been happening. Netflix is there, Disney Plus is now there, ESPN Plus, HBO's Max. Like these are all because all these places realize Showtime Anywhere. They have like everybody has their own service. I think CBS has one, and NBC will have one. Like they're all going in that direction because everybody sees the writing on the wall long term. The thing is, the people that actually control the pipelines of your internet are also the people that own these cable companies. So it's not going to go down easily. So it just doesn't make financial sense for me to cut the cord because Spectrum or whatever Time Warner Cable is like, wait, don't cut it just yet. Like we're going to give you all these things included, and we're going to give you your internet cheaper if you get everything together through us, rather than I get my internet and then I go out and get an HBO subscription and a Showtime and whatever other channel.
Right.
So in the States, you don't have like how we have second thread cable or second thread internet like Cosico and all these other ones where you'll get the same kind of bandwidth. Obviously, if something goes down, they feed off the line of Bell and all those stuff, but they're cheaper. Just the same thing like how cable, phone providers are done, where you have like the Verizons and the Freedoms and stuff like that. Do they have that kind of same setup when it comes to cable in the States?
No.
Cosico, Dosito, whatever you're talking about.
Obviously that's
we got, it depends where you live, right? So where I am, I've tried to get, for instance, Verizon Fios here, but Verizon Fios doesn't connect everywhere. So I actually only have one cable provider, like only one internet provider comes and connects to my building.
Got it.
So there isn't. I don't actually have another option. Another option, if I wanted, would be like a satellite, internet. But then that's going to be more expensive. Yeah, that's going to be even more expensive. So like that doesn't make sense either. So it depends. Like if you're in certain places, yeah, it would make sense because if you have competition, then maybe you have much cheaper internet, and then you can make it work. So it also depends on like where you are. But
yeah, because obviously with you have no choice. You only have one.
Yeah, the only thing holding back innovation and stuff like that is the concept of the cable box. They will not move on from it because it's the only thing keeping the lights on right now. You have to buy a cable box. You have to rent it from them. And as long as they can control that pipeline through that thing, there's no reason for them to get live TV, efficiently and make it work properly on the internet. And this is the only thing that's keeping the lights on for these TV channels. You think people really pay for ESPN and, ABC and CBS, whatever? They pay for those channels and maybe CNN. Outside of that, the rest of the cable channels are living off of your cable box fees. That's it.
Yeah.
And if we change to strictly on-demand internet TV, all those channels will go defunct overnight. They can't afford it. Because you look at the fees, like ESPN, how much do they get per cable box? It's like $10 or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I remember reading that years ago. They were the high. I'm sure it hasn't changed. They're the highest for sure.
Yeah, they get the bulk of the thing comes from ESPN, and then ABC and Fox and all these channels. They get the other bulk of it, and everybody else is fighting over the pennies for your cable fee.
But
that's because like live television is like, and specifically when we think of live television, we think of sports, like live sports.
Yeah,
it's definitely holding up cable television because.
But here's the thing,
it's all the rights agreements and all those kind of things.
Well, yeah, for sure.
The cable companies, and so
they got a massive hold on the cable industry because. Like, for example, like we're talking about, I know the start of the podcast, we're talking about like the football games, but like I can't name one thing I watch from Fox outside of the NFL, which that isn't a rerun. Like I don't watch The Masked Singer. I don't watch Empire. You know what I mean? Like really and truly for me, like outside of Blackish and I guess maybe Power, like there really isn't anything I watch live anymore outside of sports. Like everything, everything I watch is PVR'd. Everything I watch is PVR'd.
I mean, there's very few things that anybody watches live anymore.
Yeah.
It's not sports. Like Game of Thrones almost was like the end of an era of watching live sports because of live television because people were going to be talking about it the next day.
Right.
And so now it's almost all up to sports in terms of like holding up live television because everybody can just watch. You can just watch it when you want to watch it, and you don't have to worry about getting up and going to get something in the kitchen or going to the bathroom and you come back and you've missed a part of your show. So people prefer to watch on demand.
What's the only thing, except for Calvin? Calvin's the only guy I've known for years that would record a sports show and watch it later. Like sports is the only thing that you have to watch live. Like I can't watch it later.
Well, let me correct you, Eddie, because games I can't anymore, but like a PTI or like Around the Horn, those are like the only ones I watch that are like recorded, and usually I don't even watch that live. I usually watch it at night or in the morning.
I used to record games.
No, I know that, but I'm saying that for me now, I can't do that. I can't. Okay. I haven't done that in a really long time. But for me, it's
and now with the 24/7 sports, like you'd have to literally turn off your phone if you want to watch a sports thing and not hear about the outcome.
Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere that like the top 10 kind of like Nielsen rating shows was all football. We're all football games.
Oh, it's all sports. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's not surprising.
Yeah,
and after that, it was like maybe an award show or something like that. But it was like it was like all sports. It was all football. It was not even all sports. It was like all football.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably like This Is Us is probably like one of the few that are like still generating massive like ratings, and it's still nothing compared to like when you hear like the Nielsen ratings from back in the day for some of these shows, like a Cheers or like a Cosby show would generate like 50 million viewers, per episode kind of thing, and you're nowhere near that now. It's like a fraction of that now.
With PVR. Because I still remember back in the day. I remember when 24 was on the air.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching that.
I used to break so many traffic violations trying to get home on time to watch 24 because you couldn't miss a second of that. Like I would hold my piss in order to watch that show. But now with PVR, it's a wrap. Like I don't know when anything starts anymore. I don't know what day it starts on, let alone what time. And then like you know, primetime TV, which was between 8 and 10. Like who's watching TV between 8 and 10?
Well, I think on top of that too, like at this stage, everybody's lives is like for the four of us, like everybody's lives is different too. Like for myself, and I know you guys can speak to a lot of you guys can speak to this, but like dealing with a young family, and for me, like continuing to build this platform from within, like I'm not in front of my TV the way that I used to be. You know what I mean? So that's for like so on demand thing is huge for me. You know what I mean? Like as for everybody else, of course, your lives are just busy, and there's just so much. Not just content, but like from your devices and everything else that take away your attention. Like just talking about what you're saying with the sports angle, it's hard to, like, as you said, you can't record a game. Like I know people who still record them, but it's hard because if you have a phone with you, you're seeing a highlight from, like House of Highlights or Bleacher Report, or you know what I mean? Or you're on Twitter and you catch like something's trending and you're going to go watch it. And you already kind of know the principles of what happened within that game, without even watching the game, without even watching the highlights, much less.
You even have to do that. You can't even chat with anybody because someone's going to drop it in a chat or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you don't go online, just to somebody texting you or whatever, you're going to hear something.
Now, I just want to kind of move on to the next question I have here, but like, in terms of the cord cutting aspect of things, right? Is cord cutting actually saving you money? And the reason why...
No.
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 I'll go right now and say no. But you see, I haven't fully cord cut it though, because I still have cable TV. I watch live stuff too.
Right.
The cord cutter would have saved me money if I didn't have a wife.
Wow.
I pictured his wife being a bowling ball, and he just threw it right down the alley, right down to knock down all the pins.
Like, if we brought her on this podcast, she'd be like, he lies. He loves to watch 90 Day Fiance. Don't listen to Headley. Headley's like, ooh, baby, it's Sunday. It's time for the amazing race. Right.
Cable is the greatest thing that happened to our lives, baby. I'm never gonna leave.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, look, like if I was 22 years old and I'm barely home and like I watch occasionally a couple of things, cord cutting makes sense. But like, I'm an old hardback man. I have kids. I'm staying home. It doesn't save me money. Plus, I have a job. I'm not trying to I don't know. I feel like back in the day too, there was an element of like, you would cop like your parents' password or something like that because you're just like, man, I don't got it this month. Like I'm not, I can't afford this.
You have like, a complete wrong.
That like $10. That $10 a month makes a difference to me. But now I'm like. I also work in the industry.
Perception of what cord cutting is. You actually think you're getting less of a service when actuality you're not. But it's funny.
Yeah, Henley, if you use illegal streaming,
my kids right now,
yes,
all they watch Netflix and they watch YouTube. They watch their particular. If they watch cable, it's maybe Treehouse and Disney Junior. They don't. And tell you the truth, they don't watch a lot of TV. Mm-hmm. So if
you just name dropped a lot of TV, but go on.
No, I said 2 channels, and I say if they watch TV, it's Netflix or they watch YouTube. But back in the day when you're sitting down there like, it's Saturday cartoons, and you're sitting down watching, like they don't watch a lot of TV. I wouldn't be buying cable or watching TV for my kids because they don't watch a lot of TV. And again, with us, as Calvin was talking about, and Keo, all of us are talking about, it's specific shows that we watch, specific channels.
Yeah, but like you're saying, like in terms of saving money, right? Like the way you're going to save money is to say, all right, so I'm getting just my internet subscription, and then I'm getting whatever. I'm only going to do Amazon Prime, and I'm going to do Netflix. Yeah, if you do those alone, you're going to save money. But then now you're like, all right, you have this like massive out where you're like, oh, I have an illegal box, so I can watch Power, which is on another channel. I'd have to get a subscription to that if you wanted to watch that. Oh, I can watch Game of Thrones
right.
on my illegal streaming. So like, I can like, you're getting out for all these like individual things, and like if you add them up, you would need a subscription to like 6 different streaming services individually if you wanted to watch all 6 of those shows.
That's true.
So like your Android box is like it's a cheat code, and it doesn't really, like it's hard to debate that. Yeah, if you like.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, what?
Continue on.
How many people? How many streaming services do all you guys have? Right now, I have Netflix, I have Amazon, and I have DAZN. That's the only. Those 3 are the bulk of my TV watching.
Right.
Oh, you subscribe to DAZN?
Yeah.
Man, I work at ESPN. Fun that.
Yeah, I only watch football and trying to get into some soccer, so that's it.
Now I'm remembering why I wanted Mambo on this podcast. Now I remember. This is why. The flamethrower, this whole episode.
What? I never heard of it. Never heard of that. The what? Nah, I don't know it. Never heard of it. You talk about ESPN Plus? Is that what you guys are subscribing to? Good man. We got the whole ESPN 30 for 30 catalog. The whole back catalog is available on ESPN Plus.
Hey, save the plugs until the end of the episode, buddy. Save the plugs to the end of the episode.
Only $5.99 a month.
The reason why I asked this question is just because I'm like, between all the streaming sites, as we were mentioning before, like between Apple, like Apple TV, Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu. But then on top of that, you still got like your, people who subscribe to Spotify. You got your Apple Music. You got all these different little things that keeps adding up. Eventually, this shit gets costly. And I'm not saying like you're spending the same money as you were, through the traditional models, but it definitely ain't as cheap as it used to be. And
it's up there.
Yeah,
it's up there.
And now there's more streaming sites that's coming down the pipeline. Like the only thing that we keep mentioning that hasn't come down the pipeline fully is sports, but with ESPN Plus and their original programming, it's only a matter of time before some of the other channels start doing the same thing. And some leagues are going to either start collaborating or creating their own streaming site that's going to come and try to basically blow the traditional model to smithereens. Because
I think so here's the problem with you say the NBA is all right, the NBA is going to go and it's going to just start its own thing, and they're going to say, forget all the contracts with all the cable networks. We're going to just go direct to consuber.
Well, not right now. No, not right now.
There is an NBA streaming thing, though.
No. But listen one thing. So the NBA right now, how many people actually have the NBA League Pass and are paying, what is it, $300 a year or something like that for I can't remember the numbers, but you don't have enough. The numbers don't make sense. They don't have enough people paying, $20 a month or $25 a month for the league pass in order to sustain the league as it is. They need the people who have the passive subscription to NBA TV or the passive subscription to ABC or whatever network, TNT. You know what I mean? Those people, that helps. That there's a reason that stuff is bundled in packages on cable TV. I'm telling you, I think where you're going to end up with, I wouldn't be surprised, is you start seeing a consolidation in the streaming systems, and next thing you know, fucking Amazon Prime owns a bunch of things, and Amazon Prime is now the place you go and is giving you the majority of Amazon Prime is giving you half the NBA games a year, and DAZN is giving you, or ESPN Plus, never heard of DAZN. So ESPN Plus is giving you the other half of NBA games for the year, and that's how the NBA is reaching their consumer base. Plus, they're
this is what Disney's trying to do right now.
100,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Disney Plus is trying to do this.
Yeah, and Disney Plus is they came out strong because they came out and immediately got 10 million. They're on track to have up to 20 or 30 million subscribers by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which in a matter of 2 months.
They have a sustainable catalog.
Yeah, because they bought Fox for $71 billion, though.
Exactly.
They can't afford to buy up the league and everything else, though. They're still living off of TNT and ESPN for NBA. They can't afford
Let me
it.
ask you, how many people here? There's only 4 of us, but who here took the free package of Disney Plus?
I did.
I didn't.
Who did? Anyone?
I did.
No. Oh, you did?
Alvin?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, so Calvin, because I heard there was a lot of issues. I mean, it was obviously it was written about.
There were no issues. Everything was perfect.
Sure.
I don't know what you're talking about, Headley.
Drink
Come over
that
here
Kool-Aid.
talking
Drink that
about lies.
Kool-Aid. But Calvin,
There are lies on my company.
would you keep Disney Plus after you have your trial?
Well, it's funny. I mean, for this month, I did actually. I did for this, just for this month. And it's probably gonna lead to my next question here too. But actually, you know what?
It's a bar. It's I joke, right? I work there. I'm joking, but like $7.99. I mean, they're like, it's a good price, especially comparatively. Like they undercut Netflix on purpose, right?
Yeah.
They can't afford that though. They gotta raise the price of food.
I mean, Netflix did the same thing, right? Netflix came in originally. What was Netflix like? $6.99 a month.
Yeah, now it's like $11.99
$12.99 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, like everybody goes up at some point, but like you can't come in unless you're like a boutique place like HBO, where people are like, this is some of the best television that's out there, and so people are willing to pay $15 a month to HBO. I know myself, like if I cut my cable, I will pay $15 a month to keep my HBO subscription. I think the quality of a lot of the TV they do is that high, and so like I appreciate a lot of the shows that are on there.
Right.
And I think that like not a lot of places are equivalent. I'm with Netflix, but like is Netflix like what? Like how many shows do you really watch on Netflix? Like you're like, oh my god, I can't miss that. That is originally produced by Netflix.
Mama, I want to twist that question a little bit differently. As you're saying that HBO, and I agree with you, at least in the past, as these other providers come into the punch, you're going to see the herd starting to catch up to HBO, I think. However, right, you're right. The HBO at least has the prestige or the image of having a higher tier.
Great content.
Of content, yeah, not clothes, of shows and stuff. Do you think that maybe that's what these other providers, like you were talking about how, it started at $6.99 with
Netflix.
And they increased it and stuff like that. Do you think a lot of these companies, they should start doing different packages where you start with the $6.99 if somebody just wants some kind of like basic? I know we're probably starting to get into the cable.
And that's where it's all going to end up, man.
Right?
Well,
you're absolutely right. Like what you're saying is where it's going to end up. You're going to end up getting a mirror version of your current cable system in an internet streaming system. Like I said, with like the sports, but like, some of these things will get eaten up by different companies and things will get consolidated. And I don't know. I think that like, there's only so many companies that could come out. You can only have so many streaming services. There is a limit.
Here's the problem. Streaming services are not sustainable. If you're buying Friends for $100 million and you're buying this show, whatever, for how many $1 million, that bottom line is so deep in the red. It takes you so many subscribers before you can break over to get back into profitable, right? Yeah. The only way Netflix could survive the onslaught of all these other things is making new shows. So they started, they did House of Cards, and Stranger Things was a hit. Top Boy. And they have some other stuff, and now they're starting to make movies.
Yeah.
So they did The Irishman. It came out like a couple weeks ago. Michael Bay just made a movie for them, and this is the thing that's going to keep Netflix lights on. HBO, when it switches over to being streaming only, because it's going to do that soon. HBO has the benefit of Warner Brothers catalog because it's the same company. Time Warner is the same company. HBO. Their HBO Max is going to get the Time Warner catalog, and then they're going to compete with Netflix, and it's basically going to be Disney, Netflix, and HBO going
and HBO.
So you know what? So I guess to lead to my next question here, with the creation of Disney Plus, do you guys think Netflix is in trouble, or do you think they still have a stronghold? Hell
yeah, they're in trouble.
Let me answer this question.
Hell yeah, they're in trouble.
We had this conversation on WhatsApp, and I think Mambo might have been on opposite ends with me with this. And I said emphatically that Netflix was going to be in trouble. I do agree that because of Netflix, because they've been in this realm for a while now, the subscription that they have have a catalog where it's like real estate. And I was talking about this, where that in itself is going to hold weight. But in terms of liquidity, in terms of the money that they're rolling out, paying all this money for these original content that Keo was talking about, for these stand-up comedy specials that they're doing, Netflix is in trouble when it comes to a liquidity or a cash flow problem, because they don't have the money backing of a Disney that's coming into the woodworks now. I know they've been in this realm for about 10, 15 years now, but and you're still seeing that they're in the red. They're going to be in trouble in that regards.
But Disney's in the red too right now.
Here's the thing.
But Disney's has a lot bigger backer though than Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix had to put in junk bonds just to get more money.
Yeah, but Disney bought Fox, and they're keeping the lifetime from these superhero movies and all this other stuff like Star Wars. Because they haven't made their money back from Star Wars yet. They spent $4 billion, and the IP is starting to go through the toilet. Disney spent all this money on the purchase of Fox, $71 billion. And then you push this thing of the streaming service, and they went all in. They didn't do the reasonable pricing of $14 like they should. They did $7. And they're banking on you have to keep your subscription. They could go hardcore and be like, bill collecting and calling you up, yelling at you, don't cancel your thing. Like the cell phone companies used to do back in the day. Like, they're going to have to do something to keep the people online. Because if people, once your $7 thing goes off and it goes back up to 14 or whatever it's going to be, and people are like, well, I got Amazon, I got Netflix, I don't know if I need Disney. People are going to make hard choices like that.
You're thinking of Disney as like a company similar to Netflix. Disney is not like Netflix. Disney is an ecosystem.
Disney's huge.
Ecosystem that exists. Yeah, but like Disney is an ecosystem. Like, you don't need as many people because you have other revenue streams coming in from the parks, coming in from merchandise.
Parks are losing money now, though.
You're talking about like an ecosystem. So like, yes, the people are going to join. They're going to listen. They're going to watch these shows, and then you're like, oh, you're in this Star Wars. You really get into Star Wars. You get into Mandalorian, and then here, guess what? We got like all this merch that you can also get, and you come to Disneyland and Disney World. There is an entire Star Trek section that is like dedicated to like Star Trek rides and everything like that. But like, all of these things don't exist ended up just like one by themselves. Whereas Netflix's strategy is like, Netflix doesn't have a theme park. They don't have other ways to monetize a piece of property, right? So like Disney can monetize everything in so many different ways. I go to Costco and there's like all kinds of Disney stuff everywhere, right? I mean, they have like so many different ways to monetize stuff that it's a different. It's not like you're not comparing apples to apples when you think about like the way Disney Plus is competing with Netflix. It's not like they can afford to come in at a different price point.
I totally agree with you with that. But I'm saying is that Disney spread themselves really thin. They were banking on Star Wars being this huge cultural phenomenon for years to come, and it's falling off right now. Like, the next movie is not even selling out anymore. And then you have all the attractions for Galaxy Edge for Disney. They spent how many billions of dollars, like hundreds of $billions to build this thing, and the park isn't full. So you have that, and then you have like they bought Marvel. So Marvel's biggest thing that's ever going to happen already happened now. So now they're spending $10 million for 5 each shows. They have 5 different Marvel shows, and then they have The Mandalorian, $10 million an episode.
Yeah, but like
they're spread themselves really thin.
But they have the intellectual property that already has like a whole history attached to it, right?
Yeah, but the intellectual property has to still be worth something.
Let me ask you a question, Keo.
Trying to figure out a way to connect it with a newer generation.
When it comes to Netflix, what is Netflix different revenue streams?
Well, this is the thing, though. I'm not arguing that Netflix is in a better position. Netflix could go bankrupt tomorrow because the whole streaming thing is not profitable in general.
And then another thing, which company has more of an opportunity that's going to get bought out or get merged?
Well, for sure. But what I'm saying is that Disney has spread itself really thin, and they just got in trouble from the SEC for fudging their numbers this
Whoa,
past
whoa,
summer.
whoa, hey.
We're not saying that any of them is optimal. You know,
No.
When you're talking about which one is in a better position.
Well, Disney's in the best position on everybody, long term and everything else. I'm just saying that they're looking towards the future with the streaming services, and streaming services in general are just not profitable right now. You can't.
Well, if you can outlast them, they can be.
Well, yeah, it's got to be basically the system has to turn around to be only streaming services, and then
streaming might not be profitable right now, but
at some point,
cable providers and cable boxes, how it's been for the last few decades, is not going to be the future neither.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the thing is like streaming is the future because it's nothing people want to be able to seamlessly watch something on their phone and then continue it and throw it onto their television when they walk into a room. They want to be able to like just say, Alexa, play this, and not have to surf channels and all that kind of stuff. I mean, in so many ways, but piece by piece, we're getting like little, glimpses as to what the future will be in terms of what a streaming service,
what it's all like
settled, what it will look like. And there's no way that like regular terrestrial cable television is going to be able to compete with that, because no matter what, you need a little box, and it's just not smart, and everybody's going to want it to be smart, and it's inevitable.
Well, so we're just talking about this Black Friday, like you look at smart TVs. Back in the day, to get a smart TV, you're doling out payments to get a smart TV. Now you looked at Black Friday, and they're giving out smart TVs for like $200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the infrastructure
Roku boxes, Apple TVs, that's all cheap.
Exactly. It's making it easier and easier
for
everyday occurrence.
It's all integrated into one, and it connects with your devices too. It's all interconnected now. So that's
and it's going to get more and more and more integrated, and it's just going to work more and more seamlessly, and it's just going to make less sense to have a cable subscription at some point. We're not there yet, but like it's going to get there, and Amazon Prime is really experimenting with this. Like I think they have Amazon Prime bought the entire English Premier League for the month of December, and they're like trying different ways of like presenting stats and doing all kinds of stuff so that like you're not just getting your regular broadcast. You have an option. You can click a button and you can say you want to have the broadcast version, or you can say you want to have the audio from just from the stadium. So you get to just watch the game and feel like you're in the stadium because you're just getting the sound from the stadium, no talking heads, and you can just like watch the game. They have like, the stats that will like come up, and you can like toggle through stats while you're watching on your TV. I mean, all these places are trying to revolutionize the way you watch live sports, terrestrial TV, everything, and it's all going to look so different in just a few years to come.
We're dinosaurs.
Yeah.
When I look at my kids, they have like the Alexa and the Google Home, and they're talking to Google to put the Chromecast in, to watch it on the TV, to turn off the lights. I mean, that's their world now. You know what I mean? So it's like for them to pick up, it makes they're more used to picking up a tablet to go put that on their TV than to pick up a remote control.
But I tell you, Mom, sorry, Mom, but to land on your point you were saying just before, like with the English, that's amazing, because I think it's funny. I think one of the four major sports that might make a move sooner than later with that, I think, would be the NFL, because I know their contract, I think, is for their Thursday night package. I think it's done either in 2020 or 2021. And just reading little rumors here and there, you're hearing like, they might try to connect with Amazon. You know what I mean?
They're going to Amazon.
Package. Yeah.
And
that's going to be major.
If they go to Amazon, that changes everything. Whatever we think it's going to take 5 years to get to would be just cut in half.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
If something like that happens.
Well, I tell you what, I actually think Disney Plus, the threat of Disney Plus, I think is going to make it go sooner, where you thought maybe it's going to be a 10-year window before it changes. I think it's going to cut it in half because of what we were saying before, how powerful Disney is overall as a company. Like I said, I did the free subscription. I have the I did it for this month, and I can't lie, Disney Plus is addictive, man. Like especially when you got little kids. like over the weekend, I had them watching, and this is a movie they would have never watched. I had them watching Emperor's New Groove. I don't know if you guys remember that from like back in the 90s, but like my kids would have never watched that, prior to that point. But just flipping through it, they're like, hey, what's that? We watched it. They loved it. You know what I mean? And it's like, now they want to watch it again on the weekend. But it's like, yeah, like it's addictive. Like you go through their catalog, especially when you're seeing like all the movies from like the stuff that you used to watch back in the day that they might be interested in. Like when you look at that connection, it's like you can see where the thing is. And especially when they said they own like Fox. So when are they gonna add the Fox component in it? Which they could. You know what I mean? There's no reason why they can't. You know what I mean? Where they start bringing out the old shows where you could watch like friggin' like X-Files and Martin and Living Single and stuff, because that was all owned by Fox, right? So it's like all that stuff is like there's potential there. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I think they're a real threat to body Netflix.
Oh, they're going
as long as your password don't get taken. As long as your password don't take it.
Mambo's like, shut the fuck up. Shut
Yo.
the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Password, you know what that is about? Like that people like made it seem like the way that the headlines was as if it was about like Disney getting hacked and the passwords getting hacked. I mean, that was nothing but like honestly people who use the same password on multiple systems, and like a bunch of hackers were like, oh, hey, 10 million people just signed up for this new service. Let me try all these passwords I bought last month on the dark web and see if any of them work. And of course they work, because people are fucking dumb. They use the same username and password on multiple services.
Is that really what happened?
It only affected. That's exactly 100% what happened. It had nothing, like Disney did not get hacked, bro. It's not like they didn't know it was coming. It's just, that's what people do. Like you sign up for, you're like, oh, I have a Disney subscription.
So
I'm just going to like.
How do you explain to me when somebody changed their password 4 times and it gets hacked 4 times? New passwords that they put in and it get hacked again.
They had access to the email.
Yeah, man, like they were in there. Like there were people that were getting locked out of their own system because people had like bought their passwords.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody who got hacked, changed their password, got hacked again, changed their password, got hacked again.
Yeah, the only way you can do that is if you have their email password.
You're also talking about somebody who, like, yeah, if you have access to their email, it's a wrap. But also, you thinking that somebody, like, they are like, oh, I'm making a brand new password I've never used somewhere else before. I'm not sure that's necessarily true.
So you think all those different scenarios, but there's no way that Disney got hacked?
Bro, it's no. I mean, if you read the stories, Disney did not get hacked.
Mom, I'm just saying this because this day and age, you're seeing Bank of America, you're seeing all these different places getting hacked, or information getting.
I'm not saying places
like crazy.
Not get hacked.
Okay,
I'm not saying
that's exactly what you said. You said 100%. There's no way that Disney got hacked, which I think is bullshit.
No, I'm
saying
Headley. I'm saying Disney did not get hacked in this instance. Everybody knows that, like, the way that these passwords, these were passwords that already existed, and people were using old passwords again.
And I disagree with that, because that can't happen if somebody changes their passwords 4 times and they get hacked 4 times.
It can if you use passwords that you've already used in other places.
Okay, sure.
I mean, if a lot of people have, like, oh, I have like 6 different passwords that I use on 25 different services. So I use one iteration of one of these 6 passwords. If one of them gets hacked, okay, I'm using my other password that I've used on these other services.
So that's exactly what happened.
It's not rocket science. So I don't know what happened with that person with the 4 passwords. I don't even know.
I'm not talking about just one person. I'm talking about that's happened in several. When I read some of the articles, that's exactly what happened on several different occasions. Yeah, there was some people that did get locked out and they couldn't get into it, and that very well.
Bro, there's 10 million subscribers. For some reason, only like a few thousand people got hacked. Trust me, it didn't happen.
Oh wait, so you think it has to be everybody that has to get hacked for that to happen?
Bro, if somebody accessed 10 million usernames, they would probably use all of them.
But Mambo, there's been times where you see where it says Bank of Montreal has been hacked. Not everybody has been hacked. There could be a
right. No, that's fair.
Look,
all I'm saying is I read a lot about this hack because I was actually curious myself, and everything I read said that the way that people were hacked was like passwords that already existed online. Now, the people that like changed their passwords, I don't actually know what happened in that scenario.
Okay, got it.
I'm assuming that like
you are assuming. That's what I'm saying. You are assuming.
Yeah, of course I'm assuming. I'm not Disney security. I mean, I
That's
know
what I'm
somebody
saying,
that
but
works in it.
That's what you cannot say. That's why he was. It's.
So what do you like? What do you know? You're not Disney security either.
That's what I'm saying. But you're the one that's saying that's 100% that they didn't get hacked, which I find that you can't say that. That's impossible.
Okay.
I can't say that.
99.9% they didn't get hacked. I will allot.
And scene.
And
scene. And scene.
Sure.
Back to your corners, gentlemen.
Calvin,
Back to your corners. Back to your corners, gentlemen. Back to your corners. Let's move on to the next round. Hold on. Let's move on to the next round.
Edit that down to like 30 seconds. And don't let Headley edit it, because Headley will just edit it with like just the ending where I'm like, okay, fine.
All right, so I have a couple more questions, then we'll wrap this up. But in the future, what does this all mean for sports if the cord cutting culture continues to eat away at the conglomerate's pockets? Because I know Mark Cuban made a comment recently where he blamed some of the decreasing NBA ratings on cord cutting. So I asked this question aloud, like I wonder, like, how would this affect sports going forward? So I just, I'll start, Keo. I'll start with you with that aspect. Like, what do you think about that prospect?
I don't think the decline in sports is because of cord cutting. I think people are bored with the service right now for certain leagues. Like everybody has their time in the sun for your league. Like NFL is number one now. NBA is starting to pick up. I don't equate that to that, but like I feel
mind you, to be clear, mind you, he's not saying that's the only reason or main reason.
Okay,
right. So, but that's what we say. That's one of the reasons.
I feel that there's going to be some kind of service, maybe like the Zone or somebody. Maybe Disney picks up a sports service, and all of the leagues are going to go to that. And I think that's the future from then on out. I don't know what it is going to be. Maybe they go to HBO. Maybe they go to Disney. Something's going to happen where all the sports are going to be online, because it only makes sense.
Yeah.
Right now, you should be able to watch your team anywhere. Blackouts shouldn't matter anymore, and these kind of things that it don't affect it future-wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sports is definitely going to be like the last frontier, because sports, as we all agree, is the one thing that we have to watch live. You can't watch a pay-per-view fight and watch it 6 hours later.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not like television shows. Award shows. Once award shows is done, I guess award shows. You can love award shows, live TV, like news, sports. But the sports is the biggest, I guess, conglomerate in that sphere when it comes to live stuff. Once that kicks, that's gonna be the hardest thing, where people's gonna need to have that live before going to any kind of cord cutting where you can watch it at different times.
Yeah.
And that is why, like, ESPN, honestly, like, I know I work there, but seriously, like, ESPN Plus made a deal with, UFC. Yeah. ESPN Plus made a deal with Top Rank Boxing. Mm-hmm. Like, they know that is, like,
it's coming.
It's a thing, and people will, like, sign up because they're like, I want to have the fight. Like, I want to get that, that live match. Like, original programming. So much of it.
And original programming. I said and original programming, because I know one of the things they did last year too for basketball fans was they had, like, they're following Duke for the season, right? At least for the majority of the season, where it was only exclusively on ESPN Plus. And people, with the whole Zion and RJ phenomenon, like, people were following that shit like crazy. So
Kobe Spotlight was like another thing. Getting people in that. And I think, honestly, like, the 30 for 30 catalog is something that's definitely, like, attractive to a lot of people, is being able to access that entire thing.
Right.
And having, we had Last Days of Night, Bobby Knight, that premiered on ESPN Plus.
Wow. So you see it coming. You see it coming. Like, to reference old Kanye, not this version of whatever the hell it is going on with him right now, but, like, the old Kanye stated one time, like, you got to listen to the kids, bro, So, like, most TV, most kids don't watch TV the same way as we did, but, like, a lot of these TV contracts are based on how we watch TV, not necessarily the kids. So while, like, they're catering to that and selling their packages, like, to accommodate your device, like, to me, it's like, is it enough to offset more and more of cable subscriptions being canceled? So I know, like, for example, like reading some of the stats, like they said like 60% of cable subscribers are connected to it because of sports. And in the other part too, like in terms of the cable cutting aspect of it, like the cable cutting aspect is not as prevalent as it was like even 2 years ago, where it's starting to now slow, like it's kind of like leveling out a little bit. I think last year it only changed by like 1%, where like from 2017 to 2018 it was a 6% difference where people were cutting their cable. Now it's like 1%, so it's like it's slowing down. But like like I said, the sport aspect of it, I think, is humongous because of the rights and all that stuff that's connected to it. But again, like I said, I think that's based on how us guys, like how we watch TV, but it's not based on how, like, I wouldn't even say our kids, but say like, you know, like the teenagers, the 20-year-olds, how they watch TV, because how they watch TV is completely different from how we watch it. You know what I mean?
So they watch it on their phone.
Yeah, they watch everything on their phone. Like they don't even like one of my nephews, like he doesn't even have a TV. He just, everything's on his phone and his device. You know what I mean? Like that's how they watch it now. So to me, that's where I think it's gonna change, because
the problem is, how do you monetize it though?
And that's the part to figure out. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that.
And that's a question. Like, I know I was talking about Kodi and Plex, but another big thing that we didn't talk about is IPTV, where you can basically get every live station, even the ones pay-per-view stations, all of it for a nominal fee. And yes, it might be a small subdivision right now, but if they don't get on top of that, it's miscellaneous costs that it may not affect their overall dollars now. But if you let that continue to fester and to grow, it's going to be a bigger problem in the future. Especially with all these nowadays, where, as you said, they're not even looking at needing to watch it on a big television station anymore. They can just get the IPTV on their telephone and be like, I'm good.
So I guess my last question here will be, what do you guys think the landscape of TV is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? So Mambo, I'll start with you.
Well, go ahead, Mambo.
I mean, I don't know. I think if I was like in marketing, I'd have a better answer for you. But like in brand strategy, I'm in production.
Okay,
so
no, that's fine. It's your opinion. I'm not asking for your professional opinion. I'm asking for your opinion.
No, I think we're gonna be in some iteration of where we're at now. I mean, we're not like the cord. It's gonna take a very long time to cut the cord for everyone, you know. And then when it gets to a critical mass, yes, it'll happen faster, but it's gonna be slow moving until you get to that critical mass of people who have like moved over. But it's going to take a while, and a lot of these places need to be ready to do it first as well, because if they're not ready, they're not going to like make the move. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's an inevitability. So it's just a question of when. It's not a question of if it's going to happen. It's just a question of when. It might take 5 years. It might take 10. But I we'll see.
Okay, Headley, go
ahead. I look at that question a little differently. One thing I do agree with about the critical mass is it's because when it comes to the IPTV and the Kodi and all that stuff, it's still, when it comes to the television content, it's still not at the same level as cable. So people like my wife will not move over until it's the same kind of content. No buffering, no none of that kind of stuff, where they can just put it with the same kind of ease. With all those extra steps, until that stuff is eliminated, when I think about critical mass, I think of people like my wife. She's not going to go there on her own until it's a mirror image of each other. And right now, it's not. The viewership is not at the same level yet.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about the Kodi boxes is buffers? Because like if I watch like Netflix, I watch all these streaming services. I don't have buffering problems, but I'll admit, when you watch like back in the day when I would watch some illegal streams, I know that like you get buffering issues because for a whole host of reasons. But is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about we were talking about the critical mass going to the streaming, where
streaming.
When I was talking about they're gonna have to address that problem with the people doing those with the Kodis and IPTV with those illegal type streaming, that they're gonna have to.
Crack down on that.
But until the level of I guess service is at the same level, where with the ease of using it is at the same level, it's not going to be a problem that's going to be parallel. And then the other question, when Calvin was talking about just in terms of content, I also look at it in terms of how people view stuff, view their television content, or view their I wouldn't say even television content, because platform content, we should say, because TV before was just TV, where now it's TV, it's iPad, it's tablet, it's all these different ways that people are watching programming, I should say, right? I think that's going to change a lot, in the sense that we're seeing it already, where I don't know if there's even any kind of numbers in terms of like when people do programming, what's the majority of the ways that people watch programming now? TV is probably still the lead, but that's diminishing rapidly, and I think that we're going to see that continuing to erode into the next 5 to 10 years.
I think the shift is, if you look at all the major TV shows and stuff like that, they all have content on YouTube and all production and stuff like that. Even new people who are coming up, they're trying to make their content look as professional as possible. So, in the future, getting streaming and stuff like that is just going to be a way of life. The only thing holding back everything right now is your set-top box and your cable. Once you can get rid of that and you can just get your TV channels you pay for, whatever, your cable, if it can go to your phone, it can go to your tablet, it can go whatever. Great. Skipping the set-top box. You don't even need to buy that anymore. Once you can skip that, I think everything's going to be just 100% streaming after that. Like that's really the only thing holding everybody back right now. The fact that you still got to rent it, and everyone's got to buy one for their TV. Because most people, even people cord cut, they still had that thing in your house at one point in time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't gotten to the point where somebody's cut the cord, or they've never even thought of paying for regular cable. It's still a thought that, maybe I need this for this show. Because, everyone's girlfriend or their wife wants to watch something that you can only see on regular TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's still there. So,
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
You get past.
Q, you want to bring back rabbit ears?
No, I feel like everyone's got their reality TV stuff.
But now, like, all that stuff, I don't know about in Canada, but here it's all, if you have a digital receiver, like, you get so much stuff.
Yeah.
High definition.
Yeah. And you can get that
there. Cable that, like, comes in, like, high definition, you don't even need. You get, like, I think you can get, I don't know, a few dozen TV channels with like a digital receiver.
I just bought one online yesterday. It has a radius of about 70 to 80 miles, where you can pick up a couple dozen, local stations.
You get up to like 30 channels.
But it's like, you also get not like rabbit ear quality, like you're getting
exactly high def,
for sure.
Which is better than whatever you're streaming on even an illegal Kodi box.
Everything it's the HD signal now for all the TV channels, the local TV channels. They're all HD.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
so once you get the signal, it's like your cell phone. No, the thing is, the set-top box is the thing holding everybody back. Like, realistically.
Yeah.
And until they can figure out how to make people pay and get rid of that, we don't know what it's going to be. I think, because the idea is still get you to pay for it.
You're not going to get people to change until you get the cable companies can figure out how they're going to keep making money.
Exactly.
Right? Like, how does Time Warner still make money? I mean, they're not going to easily give up that.
The only way
they want to keep stay the middleman, and like some of them, like Time Warner, are coming up with their own original shows.
Yeah.
See it now, like
the only way I think you can get over this hump is that, how you buy the set-top box, you get CNN, whatever basic stuff, and it comes with it, right? But you're paying a service fee for it. So whatever that service fee is, it's like $20 or $10 or whatever for all the channels. If you put that into the price of internet, you merge it from cable TV just to internet only, and you still allow all these services. I think that's the only way you can get over the hump of removing the set-top box and making everything streaming. You need that service fee.
You're just paying Peter and Paul, just changing hands, right?
Yeah, but they're gonna have to make you pay that service fee somehow.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not relinquishing control. Like they run the industry. They're not relinquishing control.
There's no way they're gonna give that money up.
No
way.
Like I think
ultimately, Headley, with the exception of like doing illegal streaming, you're not gonna get more for less. Like that is just not a thing.
Yeah.
So And even then, in that case of what, like the illegal streaming boxes, they're not like long for the world. Like once those warning letters start going out because the cable companies start making a stink and people start getting $10,000 threatening fines, like it'll shut that industry kind of.
All I'm saying is they're gonna have to do that at a much alarming pace because they've started that right now and it's going on deaf ears.
Yeah, because it's like if they're not serious about it, but when they're serious about it, but like there's so few people that are like doing that, and like you might know like a lot, but it's not that many people that are making the effort to go get like.
No, and that's why I said before that it might not be a big thing now, but if they let this continue to grow and mushroom, it's gonna be a problem. It's going to be a problem.
Of course it's going to be a problem because the industry, like, if nobody's paying to make the TV, like, the TV's just going to exist. So, like, my beef with all you guys you guys are like grown ass men with jobs, and y'all are like college students that can't pay for a freaking cable subscription. And so, like, you want to watch. Yo, I got bills, yo, but you don't want to pay for it.
Save the dollar. Save the dollar.
I feel like Mambo. I feel like Mambo's comment should have ended with that right at the end.
For real talk, man. When you work in this industry, like now, like
no question.
I get it. It's
no question. No question.
I mean, really, it's like I get people who like say like, "Oh man, I really like that show. I like that." And you're like, "Oh yeah, you got?" Oh no, I don't have an ESPN subscription. I watch that on YouTube. Some like weird YouTube video where they like do weird things to throw 30 for 30s where they don't show the full thing because the algorithm will catch it. So you watch it on like a screen that's like 1/3 of the actual screen and it's upside down. And you're like, that's how they get around the algorithm or something. And you're like, why would you do that? Like, why?
I've never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, but the other problem is
that's how they like show like protected content on YouTube is like the way that people get around it is by doing all kinds of weird things with the framing. And you're like, why? Or like your Cody box. It's just like, we can't make the thing that you like if nobody's actually paying for it.
Like, the other problem is that
I'm just a small little percentage.
I pay for cable and I want to watch it when I want to watch it and might not necessarily be on my TV, but I can't do that. These things are you can only watch them on your TV. Like there's like NFL's got the 100 whatever, and I have to DVR it, and I can only sit down and watch it in front of my TV. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to watch it on my phone while I'm cooking or something. I can't do that right now.
You will be.
Yeah.
No, but this is how you get these Cody boxes because these type of things.
But
you're forcing people into one way to watch something. But you shouldn't do that.
But Keo, being in the industry, like I think TV right now is where music was. Like a few years back where record labels they were having to change it on the fly to deal with just the whole music streaming sites because
basically the music industry saw this stuff coming with MP3s and they watched it until it was too late.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do anything about it and they didn't respect the customers. They weren't trying to give the customers what they wanted or how they wanted to listen to it. Well, and now Spotify is out. The record companies on Spotify.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like it took such a major hit from music sales that they're still trying to recover from it. They
haven't figured it out yet. No, they still don't know.
They're still trying to recover from it because like people now they got like they'll have like 5 million streams on Spotify. But profit wise, what does that mean? Like it doesn't mean the same like selling 5 million albums. Like it did back in the day. You're still not making the same amount of money.
But then, like, all these people are still making a ton of money in the music industry, certain artists at least, because they're able to, like, monetize concerts, right? So now it's, like, more about live shows and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. There's no equivalent to that in TV. Nobody's like, oh, I can't do this. I'm going to go watch, like, I'm going to go watch Empire on Broadway. Like, that's not a thing. So, like...
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that I want to watch NFL Network on my phone, but I can't do that, even though I pay for it. And this is the problem. You guys, they're not thinking long term from respecting streaming services. Like they need to all of them.
Relationships. They're not going to make that much money off of 100,000 people that are going to watch it on their phone. They're making their money off of the like millions of people that are getting it through their cable box. And
Yeah,
the
but
guy
the content's available on YouTube.
And the people,
any of you guys game?
no, but I'm saying like,
do any of you guys game?
If what? Sorry.
What?
I can't start a whole new subject right now.
No.
I got bounced.
So let me just ask you: any of you guys gamers? Yes or no?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Q, you game, right?
Yeah.
When you game, do you mostly stream or do you still buy like cartridges?
No, I buy. I don't like streaming the thing. I'll buy the thing and download it to my Xbox, whatever. I do that.
So with gaming, they have like maybe a more of a parity in terms of buying a cartridge and you can still go and stream online and still make money both ways.
Yeah.
And is there any way possible that kind of I don't know, duality can be done with TV content in cable?
Absolutely. This is the thing though. Say you log into your phone or you have a password for Bell TV or whatever cable company, Verizon. If you log into your thing on your phone, you should be able to watch everything from your TV. But their relationships are ancient from 1930 something, whenever they started doing it. And so they haven't adjusted towards the future of, well, people only watch things on their phone. The next generation of kids only watch things on their phone. They may be more likely to keep the cable service or that kind of service if you could do it on your tablet or your phone.
It's able to be transferable because that's
like transferable.
Like that's the one.
Not right now.
But that's the one thing. Like music, that's the one thing. Like the good thing is that it's clear that like the demand for content isn't going away. But the way people are reacting to the distribution of it now and like the options on how to get their content is major. And like I think it's going to continue to change. And for me personally, like I think like in the short term, I think what would be smart is, as you're saying, Mambo, not Mambo, sorry, Keo, was to like being able to select your own specific channels and have it go on all your devices. But like in about 10 years, like I don't know if we're watching the TV the same way at all. Like I think whatever the evolution is from Fire Sticks and smart TVs.
There has to be a change.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
that's the point why I brought that up. It has to be a change. And it's true what Keo was saying is because, you know, I mean, I don't know, with the hard wire and you got the 5 cable and all that stuff now, it's almost a revision of an old paradigm.
Right.
But once you can get that, I guess, the physical content out of the way and be able to find a way where you can blend the two worlds, that's when you're going to be at the same level where I guess I don't know why it was so much easier with gaming and then with music and stuff. Like TV, that's like the final frontier of trying to get that duality between, I guess, you know, the old kind of box and going where it's virtual.
Well, I was gonna say it wasn't easy with music. By the way.
Say again?
No, I was just gonna say, it wasn't easy with music, by the way. But go on.
Yeah, it was a bloodbath, man.
It still is.
I was saying that, like, ultimately, to Keo's point, what's gonna happen is that, like, Time Warner, Comcast, like all these like cable providers are basically right now, I would assume, are working on apps that will like integrate with all kinds of different smart TVs and Roku TV and all this kind of thing, and will basically mimic the exact infrastructure, but a much better system,
a more
of like
efficient way.
A cable top box, but through an app. So like you'll have your smart TV, you'll have your Comcast subscription, you'll have this like all package delivery of all these different channels. You'll get almost the exact same bundle with your cable subscription. It'll just be coming through a digital platform. Yeah. And until that happens, until they're ready to make that change, you're going to deal with cable service the way it is.
There goes the ugly word assume again. Let's hope that's what they're doing.
Well, again, I think whatever the evolution is going to be from Fire Sticks and smart TVs, like I think that's like watching TV the same way. It's going to be dead. Like I said, to lend to my earlier point before, like the kids, the teenagers, the young adults, like they're going to be like in their 30s now, and in about 10 years from now, they're going to dictate the entire culture of how we consume content. They're going to be in enough powerful spaces where they're going to be able to do something about it. And from their eyes, they're not going to protect past generations on how we watch and listen to stuff. They're going to blow that whole shit up. You know, so I think so I think that's where it's going. Like that's where we're all kind of saying the same thing, but I think that's where it's going. Like the younger generation is going to blow this model to smithereens, much like we blew through VCRs and 8-tracks. You know, like it's going to be the same shit. They're going to blow through this model. They're not protecting this. You know, they're not even respecting it now. So they're definitely not going to protect it when they're in positions of power to do something about it. You know, so I think that's what the biggest thing. But sorry, last point, Mambo. Go ahead. If everybody wants to add the last point. Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean. Should I wrap up? Shit.
Put me on spot.
My bad. I think I cut you off before. That's all. I was trying to be nice.
No, I said no. It's the thing I was saying about, like, I think that, you know, the future is some sort of, like, we're basically going to go back to a cable bundled subscription. We're just like, how is that going to come about? Is all. Mm-hmm. So right now it's through a TV top set box, but like in the future it's just going to come a different way. You're going to have an app on your phone, and that's going to be your cable box is going to be an app on your phone instead, and it's still going to be through the same system because these are the gatekeepers. They own the information highway. That's it. So like they control it. So you want to like cut the cord, but who are you cutting the cord from?
Yeah,
like they own it. They own the whole thing.
But they get
their internet. All they have to do is say like, all right, you want to cut cords? No problem, man. Here's how much internet access now costs you. Now internet access costs you $400 a month.
You're absolutely right. But you know, as one thing that we learned as history showed, there's always something coming down the pipeline that's going to rock the foundation. You know what I mean? So it's like if they don't as what Keo and I guess Headley was saying even in previous podcasts, like if you don't respect the consumer, something is going to come along to rock the foundation. You know what I mean? And
but you're talking about.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said you're talking about infrastructure. Like I'm saying, the infrastructure is very different. Right. So like there's actual cables that all the internet is coming through. Like those cables are owned by companies, and I'm saying those companies, for the moment, are not like, you know, but like there's a reason like net neutrality was getting killed, and they were like fighting to get out of net neutrality so they can do all kinds of shenanigans and be able to say, all right, now, you know, you cut your cable, but, you know, if you want to watch HBO or something, you can do that, but you're going to pay extra. And if you want to have NBC and CBS, they're our partners, and so you'll pay less if you want to have those things. It's going to be a hot mess, man. A lot of people have vacation homes in like the Caribbean that they need to pay for, a lot of executives, and they're not going to let go of that shit easily.
I totally agree with you. And you know what? We're probably going to have to revisit this again in the near future because I like this won't be the last of this. You know, put it that way. The way everything's changing is, you know, we haven't heard the last of this conversation, to say the least.
Well, I mean, as you said with music, it was a bloodbath, right? When people wanted, when
still is, bro,
and get the distribution with going with major labels and stuff like that, you know, they power through with independence and all these other avenues, right?
On that note, let's end the podcast right here. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on today, man. Seriously, it was a great conversation today, man. It's been a pleasure.
You would never thought that I used to work at BET.
Oh yeah, shit, you did.